Hello, Avalanche Country. Another 2 pregame seasons in the books since the last time we saw each other. That now completes the preseason for the Avalanche. With that, the Avs win their last 2 games against the Dallas Stars and the Dallas Stars back to back. We beat them on Monday 3-1 in Dallas, and then we beat them again on Wednesday by way of 2-1 at Ball Arena. The biggest thing for me to take from these 2 games was definitely the goalie performance. Frankie played on Monday and made 38 out of 39 saves for a 97.4 save percentage. And Georgiev followed that up on Monday with a spectacular recovery from his last performance. He saved 32 of 33 attempts for a 97% save percentage. I know this is still just preseason, but if we can get those kind of numbers for one or both of our goalies throughout the regular season, I am feeling confident in the Avs' potential to make it to the Stanley Cup again. I also feel confident that with a 97% save percentage, you could have a Vezina goalie on your hands. With that, I know it's a little bit too early for that, so a little bit of a hot take. But how funny would that be if how funny would it be if Georgiev left New York, where he was basically second in the chair next to Igor Shesterkin? How funny would it be if he left Colorado or if he left New York and the very next year he won the Vezina Trophy with Colorado? That'd be pretty sick. That's going to be my hot take. I'm just going to lean into it and just say, book it. As Biz says, book it now. No, but for real, Georgiev looked a lot better. His positioning was much better. And you really like to see when a goalie can have a really bad night and then bounce right back the very next game. Goalies with short memories are the best. Speaking of goalies, Kuemper had a skate malfunction again, so I guess equipment gate continues for Kuemper. It's not just an Avalanche problem, but it is now a Washington problem. Probably not a huge problem that's going to face them throughout the year, but I just thought it was kind of funny since we had to deal with that with like 2 back-to-back games with him last year, and then again, Kuemper with the skate issues. Just buy the poor guy some new skates. Next, I would like to talk about some of our forwards vying for that job position. We're down to just a couple guys left as we're reaching our final cuts. Really the only 4 skaters that we saw out there, especially on Wednesday, were Sedlak, Bleed, Rodriguez, and Kaut. Those were our 4 non-regulars, I guess you would say. And I guess most of my stats are going to be coming from the Wednesday night game. I did not get to watch the Monday game. By the time I found it, we were a little bit into the second period, and I like hockey, but I could not deal with the Jumbotron view. I have an AHL TV subscription, and that made the AHL camera look good. So I know it's preseason, so they're not really getting their broadcasters in there, but it made it really hard for me to care enough to sit there and watch the game, so I just followed up on stats after. That being said, Sedlak and Bleed both had about 10 minutes played this last Wednesday. Neither one of them are noticeable. So I would say that Sedlak and Bleed are your sure shots to be headed back to the Eagles. Rodriguez I don't think we were too worried about him going, not making the team, but it is good to see his play in the preseason. He is looking pretty strong. I like how his back check looks. He also has a strong net presence in front. Just a couple kinks that we're still working out. He does make some questionable plays as he is still trying to get used to the Avs system. Today, the most notable thing would be Rodriguez came around the short side of the net, tried to make a pass to the slot, and there was no one there. He passed it to a ghost, and that quickly turned into a 2-on-1 the other direction. It's not the only time he has passed to nobody. A couple games ago, we saw him make a couple passes to the point with no one there to receive it on the other end. I expect little mistakes like this to go away once he fits more into the Avs system and knows where to expect his line mates to be when out on the ice. That moves us to our last two guys, and I think probably our strongest two that are going to be in contention for a spot, at least at the start of the season. I think there's a good chance we'll see a few of these guys throughout the year, because we know that injuries are impossible to avoid through an 82-game season. But at least for the start of the year, I do think this spot is going to come down to one of these two. And it's either going to be Martin Kaut or Ben Meyers. Now, I do say one spot because right now it's kind of up in the air how many potential spots we have to try out for. We still have no word on Landeskog, what his trajectory is going to be, but we know for sure Landeskog will not be available for the start of the season. Kuemper is currently skating in a no-contact jersey, and we don't have any news on Helm yet. So we could be looking anywhere from one slot to fill on opening night, up to 3 slots potentially. If it is just the one, I think the debate comes down to Martin Kaut or Ben Meyers. Now, in this case, I think the smartest move is to go with Martin Kaut. I know that we're dying to get a better look at Ben Meyers. We got to see him play 5 games at the end of the last season. His preseason hasn't been the best, but as I said, we've already seen him perform in the show, so we know he can do it. And I think we want to get a closer look at what he can do. I think the Avs honestly might want to look at Meyers more than they want to look at Kaut right now. Kaut didn't really do anything impressive over the preseason. The best thing he did was to at least correct some mistakes that we've been seeing throughout his career, with lazy mistakes or lazy penalties. Your reaching, tripping penalties or slashing calls. He's definitely toned that down quite a bit. Even saw him out there trying to direct some of the new guys, make sure they were playing their positions correctly. And seeing him get involved is great, but I have not seen enough to say that the Avs are just dying to give him this spot just because it's his last year. I think the biggest thing saving Kaut a position on the team is going to be the fact that if we do not give him the spot on the team, he is going to have to pass through waivers before he can go to Loveland. I don't think Kaut makes it through waivers. So if we do go that route, I would expect another team to take the risk on Kaut. And I don't think that the Avs are ready to make that gamble just yet. That being said, to avoid potentially losing Kaut in the waivers, I think that if there is only one spot available on opening night, we give it to Kaut, let him run out his 10 games. If we don't see anything impressive from him, we'll quickly trade Kaut down for Myers. I think allowing Kaut to either have the opportunity to perform or not perform is going to honestly lock him in, if that makes sense. I mean, if he performs, great, he can be on the team while Myers continues to develop in Loveland. If he doesn't win, it could still be a potential win, as if he doesn't perform good enough to keep a spot on the Avs, he probably won't be doing good enough for another team to want to take a risk on. And so at that point, we may be able to clear him through waivers. But if we try to clear him through waivers before the regular season starts, I don't think we will succeed. Now, there's a good chance that Helm will not be there to start the season either, in which case I would expect to see Ben Myers and Martin Kaut out there. If they do look for a third, I would expect for some reason that nod will go to Sedlak or Bleed. Most likely Bleed. For some reason, Bednar seems to really like Bleed. I'm not sure exactly what that's about, because I haven't seen anything that stands out. But in a couple post interviews now, Bednar has specifically mentioned that he does like what he has seen from Bleed. So I guess we will see. For now, I think that it kind of wraps up where the Avs are sitting. We got to see primarily the Avs lineup on Wednesday. It was a fun game to watch. Kind of felt like we were back in the swing of things of regular season. By that I meant we got to see all of the All-Stars back in the lineup, and the top six looks mid-season. They are already clicking almost back to full potential. There was a couple missed plays, passes that were either ended up behind or ahead of the player, but those will get dialed in as we get a little bit further into the season. So I guess that finishes up our preseason / training camp dive into the Colorado Avalanche. We have a week off until the regular season starts. We kick things off on Wednesday against the Chicago Blackhawks in Ball Arena with the Avalanche banner raising ceremony. Should be a blast. I mean, it's going to be fun to watch the banner go up, and I mean, I'm not usually that excited to see Chicago right now. I am a little bit excited this time just because, well, we're the Stanley Cup champions and Chicago is a bottom feeder, so we should go and absolutely stomp them into the dirt for banner raising ceremony, which is gonna feel great until the next night when we go to Calgary to probably lose to Kadri and the Flames, because that's got to be the most scheduled loss I have ever seen in my life. But we will tackle that one horse at a time. Right now, we're excited for the banner raising ceremony and absolutely decimating the Chicago Blackhawks. Before, I guess, the regular season starts on Wednesday, it, I guess, officially gets started this Friday. So there is regular season hockey to watch. We got the San Jose Sharks against the Nashville Predators, and they are in Prague. Both teams have been playing against some national teams. San Jose played against the Berlin national team, and Nashville played against the Czechia, I guess is now what it's called, team. Some pretty cool clips if you haven't seen much European hockey. Holy shit, that room or stadium for Roman Josi. Oh my god, it would be so cool to have a crowd lose their mind for you like that. He's like a god over there. Moving away from the European series, though, I guess we do have a new mascot that was announced. The Seahawks, or sorry, correct city, wrong team. The Kraken have picked their mascot, Sea Buoy, the sea troll. Thoughts? My initial thought is, why? I don't really see his fit. I know Gritty for some reason had a negative response when he was announced a couple of years ago, but Gritty's actually kind of cool, like has this like personality. He's ugly as shit, but like looks kind of cool. This troll looks horrible. It's bad. I personally don't like it. I think they could have done something better, but I mean, I guess having a mascot's better than having nothing. They're still ahead of the New York Rangers in that aspect. I don't know if the Rangers are ever going to pick a mascot. If they haven't done so yet, then I would imagine they don't plan on ever getting around to that. But anyways, I just thought that was something fun to kind of talk about as we close today's video. I think next week before we start the season, I would like to get out a predictions video, talk about what teams I think we'll be seeing in the playoffs. Yes, I say we'll be seeing because the Avs are not going to miss it. But until then, we'll see you next week for our predictions, and we'll definitely see you Wednesday for Game 1. Thank you. See you guys later. Bye.